In the misty veil of a late autumn evening in Florence, Italy, Elena Rossi stared at her phone screen, the glow casting sharp shadows across her angular face. The Arno River whispered outside their apartment window, its waters swollen from weeks of relentless rain, mirroring the storm brewing in her chest. Marco had texted, "Working late at the office, amore. Don't wait up." But the location tracker on their shared app pinpointed him not at his architectural firm in the bustling Oltrarno district, but at a secluded villa in the Chianti Hills, where grapevines clung to terraced slopes like forgotten secrets. Her knees buckled as she collapsed onto the worn leather sofa, the one her nonna had bequeathed her, its faded embroidery a reminder of generations of Rossi women who had endured in silence. The truth hit like a thunderclap. The villa belonged to her sister, Sofia. Elena's mind reeled back to childhood whispers in their family's stone farmhouse in Tuscany, where olive groves stretched under endless blue skies. But shadows lurked in the corners. Their father, Giuseppe, a stern winemaker, had favored Sofia, the golden child with her effortless charm and cascading auburn hair, while Elena, the elder, toiled in the vineyards, her hands calloused from pruning vines in the scorching summer sun. Betrayal wasn't new to Elena. At 15, she'd discovered Giuseppe's affair with a village seamstress, a secret that shattered their mother, Maria, into a ghost of a woman who wandered the cypress-lined paths, murmuring prayers to saints who never answered. Maria's death from a fall down the cellar stairs ruled accidental, but Elena always suspected Sofia's complicity in covering it up, had cemented the rift. Sofia inherited the family estate, while Elena was left with scraps, a modest inheritance and a marriage to Marco, the charming architect she'd met at university in Rome. Now, at 38, Elena paced the apartment, the scent of damp plaster mingling with the faint aroma of espresso from the kitchen. Rain pelted the terracotta rooftops, drumming a relentless rhythm that echoed her pounding heart. She drove through the night, the winding road slick with fallen leaves, headlights slicing through fog-shrouded valleys. The villa loomed, its ochre walls illuminated by warm lights from within. Peering through a cracked shutter, she saw them. Marco and Sofia, entwined on the antique rug before a crackling fireplace, glasses of Chianti clinking in a toast to their deception. The drive back was a blur of tears and rage, the Apennine foothills blurring into a monochrome haze. Elena's motive crystallized like frost on winter vines. This wasn't just infidelity. It was a resurrection of generational wounds. Sofia had always taken what was Elena's. First their father's affection, then the estate, now her husband. Power struggles defined their family. Giuseppe's iron fist, Maria's quiet submission, Sofia's manipulative grace. Elena had married Marco to escape, but he too was ensnared by Sofia's web, drawn to her wealth and allure. Days blurred into weeks as Elena plodded in the shadows of Florence's narrow alleys, where street lamps flickered like hesitant confessions. She feigned ignorance, greeting Marco with forced smiles over plates of ribollita soup, the hearty Tuscan stew that reminded her of Nonna's kitchen, where stories of vendettas were whispered over flickering candles. Marco's lies grew bolder. Client meetings in Milan, conferences in Venice. Elena delved into family secrets, rifling through old letters in the attic of their apartment, discovering Giuseppe's will had been altered, Sofia's handwriting on the amendments, forging Maria's signature in her final, frail days. Moral dilemmas gnawed at Elena. Was revenge worth tainting her soul? She confided in her cousin Luca, a brooding lawyer in Bologna, whose own life was scarred by their family's feuds. Luca, with his sharp features and perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, had lost his father, Giuseppe's brother, to a vineyard dispute that ended in a suspicious tractor accident. "Blood calls for blood, Cugina," he murmured over a video call, the screen glitching in the stormy weather. But Luca's motivations were murky. He coveted a share of the estate, his eyes gleaming with opportunistic fire. Elena built alliances carefully. She befriended Marco's colleague, Alessandra, a fiery Sicilian transplant with olive skin and a laugh like breaking waves, who revealed Marco's embezzlement from the firm, funds funneled to Sofia's villa renovations. Alessandra's depth emerged in late-night conversations at a dimly lit enoteca, where Chianti flowed like confessions. "Men like him prey on trust," she said, her voice laced with personal bitterness from a failed marriage. Yet Alessandra's loyalty wavered. She harbored a crush on Marco, a secret Elena exploited with subtle manipulations. The psychological tension mounted as winter gripped Tuscany. Snow dusted the Duomo's dome in Florence, turning the city into a frozen tableau of Renaissance ghosts. Elena's emotions churned. Love for Marco curdled into hatred, sisterly bonds twisted into thorns. She staged subtle sabotages, anonymous tips to the tax authorities about Sofia's undeclared wine exports, whispers to village elders about the villa's immoral gatherings. Sofia grew paranoid, her once vibrant eyes shadowed, pacing the estate's gravel paths under leaden skies. Marco sensed the shift, his embraces growing desperate. One stormy night, as thunder rolled over the Arno, he confessed fragments. "Sofia seduced me with promises of a better life." But Elena saw the lie. He craved power just as Giuseppe had. The family dinner at the estate became the powder keg. Under a canopy of bare vines, amid the earthy scent of truffles and roasted boar, tension simmered. Sofia, elegant in a silk dress, toasted to family unity, her smile a dagger. Luca arrived uninvited, documents in hand proving the forgery. Elena's heart raced as she confronted them. "You took everything, our mother's peace, my inheritance, now my marriage." The air thickened with accusations, rain lashing the windows like accusations. Sofia sneered. "You were always the weak one, Elena. Father knew it." Marco pleaded, but his eyes darted to Sofia, revealing his true allegiance. The climax erupted in the cellar, where barrels of aging Sangiovese loomed like silent witnesses. Elena had laced Sofia's glass with a slow-acting sedative from Nonna's herbal remedies. Digitalis from foxgloves in the garden, enough to mimic a heart attack, echoing Maria's accident. As Sofia clutched her chest, gasping amid the musty air, Marco lunged, but Luca restrained him. "This ends the cycle," Elena whispered, her voice steady despite the moral abyss yawning before her. Sofia collapsed, her body crumpling like fallen leaves, eyes wide with betrayal. Marco's screams echoed as ambulances wailed through the hills. The investigation ruled it natural causes, Sofia's hidden heart condition, exacerbated by stress. Elena inherited the estate through Luca's legal maneuvers, but victory tasted bitter. Marco fled to Rome, disgraced, his career in ruins from exposed embezzlement. In the spring, as vines budded under warming suns, Elena wandered the groves, the Tuscan landscape awakening in vibrant greens and wildflowers. Yet peace eluded her. Generational trauma lingered like fog in the valleys. Had she become the monster she despised? Luca's knowing smile hinted at future power plays. Alessandra's silence, a fragile truce. Elena stood on the hilltop, wind whipping her hair, gazing at the rolling hills where secrets buried deep in the soil might one day resurface. Revenge had been exacted, but the family scars ran eternal, a tragic tapestry woven through time.